Hi guys, my name is Amaya and I created this channel to share my daily experiences of the coronavirus lockdown and also to encourage other people to do the same. So if you would like to share your experience either by sharing a link to a video or just by writing something, please use the comments section below and just connect, check in, say hi, or just make comments about this video or ask any questions. I'll be happy to answer. Today is 30th of March, Monday, 30th of March 2020, and today is 7 days since we started the lockdown in London, in the UK. So this is first week of lockdown. I have to say that personally I was already indoors at home in my own lockdown for about 3 or 4 days before the official lockdown started. So I think I'm now 7 or 10 days, but the official one is now 7 days here. And I wanted to make a video about 5 things I learned during this first week in lockdown. I think I'm someone who has spent many years doing self-development work through various ways, using various modalities and doing different things. It's about 17 years now that I've been doing this kind of work on myself. And even under these circumstances, I always try to use all the situations in my life, everything that happens in my life, as a learning process and to learn something from it. And this is no difference for me. So 5 things that I've learned in this first week in lockdown. Number 1, the first thing I learned is that human beings can be very solidarious when big things like this happen. And the pandemic is bringing people together, which is a quite amazing thing to see. I've seen this in my own experience. I feel closer to my family this week that I have felt in many years, especially with a couple of members of my family who, for different reasons, I haven't been very close to in the last few years, and they have been quite ill with the virus in the hospital in Spain. And I feel closer to them now than I've done in many years. So that's been a very positive thing. And in general, you know, I feel closer to my friends. We are checking in on each other, to my neighbors, supporting a neighbor of mine who lives a couple of doors down who's got the virus as well. Today, you know, another neighbor friend of mine cooked some food for me. A few days ago I shared some of my food with her, and we just, you know, and we've seen this in the whole of society. We saw the NHS, the health system in the UK, asking for volunteers to help out because they were so overloaded already on week 1. And I think they had about 600,000 applications when they were only asking for 250,000 people. And they were sort of, you know, overloaded with applications from regular folks that just want to help. So we are seeing this all over the place, you know, with neighbors, with sort of in the local community. There's lots of how you call it, organizations that have just started new of volunteers. They just want to help their neighbors. I mean, one of those is called mutual aid. So if you know anyone in the UK who is self-isolating and needs a bit of support, go to the mutual aid website, because there are volunteers there. They can bring medicines and food to people and do errands and different things. And so yeah, that's been a very positive thing amidst all the chaos and sort of fear, anxiety and everything that some of us have felt. People are also coming together, and that's great. So my number 2 lesson this week is learning how to stay calm, which is super important at this time. I mean, if there was ever a time when we all needed to stay calm, this is it. This is the time to stay calm. Like, you know, after the Second World War, British people had this kind of phrase that says, stay calm and carry on, right? And yes, exactly, that's exactly what we need to do. Easier said than done, though. I think for me, the first week, well, the last couple of weeks in general have been very challenging, like for a lot of people. And there's a lot of emotions that come up, feelings, emotions, thoughts, behaviors that come up, triggers. There's been a lot going on out there. We've had to change our lives from one day to the next. And yeah, generally it's been very challenging. So learning to stay calm hasn't happened in a day. I think it's been a process, but I think finally today, after 1 week, I'm kind of getting there slowly. And I think that's quite amazing because I can see this situation going on for a little while. Yesterday they were announcing that we could be in this situation for 6 months up, or more. And we are only on week 1. So I think if I can get a little bit of calmness on week 1, I'm doing quite well. And staying calm is very important because when we are stressed out, when we are anxious, when we are worrying all the time, our immune systems get low. And as they get low, we are more likely to get sick, not just from coronavirus, but from other things. So it's very important for the mind, for the soul, for the emotions, for the body to stay calm. And yeah, that's going to help us ride the waves a little bit better. So my third lesson of this week, I'm just checking my list, is, yes, my third lesson this week has been how to cope with my new life. And this has been very challenging as well. I've had my days, I've had my moments, my ups and downs. I still do, obviously. We are still, I believe we are still in a transition process that hasn't ended yet because we're only on week 1. So I think we've all gone, or at least in the UK, we've all gone from, say, 2 weeks ago, going to work. We were going to work, we were having a normal life. I remember I was going to the cinema, I was going to social gatherings, I was going out there, museums, whatever. And in less than 2 weeks, a week later, we were all in lockdown and everything was closed. And literally right now in London, there is only pharmacies and supermarkets open, and that's it. And we're only allowed to go out, well, I say only, some people, for example, in Spain, they can't go out at all, so I'm very grateful. But we can go out only once a day for a bit of exercise or to go shopping or whatever. So yeah, this learning to live in this new life, because I think there's a difference from sort of deciding yourself to stay at home for a few days to rest and maybe recharge batteries, like a mini holiday. It's very different when you decide it yourself than when it is imposed to you, even if it's for the common good and for your own well-being. It's very different psychologically and emotionally. And I think, and also when we go out, we have to be very careful as well. And of course, there's the paranoia of like, should I go out, should I not, should I go to buy food or should I stay home, and all of these things, and obviously all the things that have come from not working, financial insecurity, worrying about the future, etc., etc. So yeah, learning to live this new life, this new being indoors for so long, every day, yeah, it is a challenge in itself, and I think I am learning and it's still a work in progress. So my number 4 lesson this week is I've learned a lot about myself. So yeah, indeed, loads, tons and tons already, and it's only week 1. Like I said, for a person who does a lot of, work on myself, I am taking this opportunity to learn about myself. So I am very self-aware. I am a very self-aware person, and I observe sort of my thinking, my behavior, my feelings, my emotions, also my triggers, things that trigger me. I am always observing all of this. I am not able to obviously heal it or change it every time, but at least I am very self-aware. And so I've been observing myself throughout this week. with all the challenges that have come up and all the insecurity and fears and everything, and obviously 3 members of my family being in hospital in Spain, which was very difficult. Um, and yes, and I have learned quite a few things about myself, and I think if there was ever a time where we actually had the time and the space to do some work on ourselves, this is going to be it. You know, it's we're going to have lots of time at home. We are not, you know, in the kind of rat race at the moment, or at least not all of us. Some people are, because they are doing essential jobs like nurses and doctors and stuff. But most of us are at home, out of work, which in itself is a challenge because we got so used to being so overactive, I would say, doing. Somebody said once that we went from being human beings to being human doings, and I really believe that. So yes, so I think this is a really good chance now, because we have the time and the space to dedicate some of that time and space, not all of it obviously, we need to also relax and unwind, but some of that time we can dedicate to, you know, observing what comes up for us and what we can learn about it. And maybe there are things that we can heal through this process, maybe there are things that we can change about ourselves. So for me, I just keep learning about myself during this lockdown. And finally, number 5, number 5 on this side. The 5th thing that I've learned this week is I am learning to live the so-called new normal, right? The new normal. I mean, what does that mean, the new normal? So, is this normal? No, it's not. Not at all. And but somehow we have to get used to it. And so the new normal for me personally includes lots of things, like, for example, not being able to do my normal life, not being able to see my friends in person and do social activities with them, not being able to even talk to my neighbors in person because we have to keep social distance. So we've been delivering food to each other, we cook for each other, we've been delivering the food, just knocking on the door and then walking off because we can't even talk in person. So that's the new normal. What else? Not being able to do what I want, and I'm a very independent person. So for example, going out whenever I want, because I'm very conscious of not going out unless it's really, really necessary. So that in itself is a challenge. What else? Going to the supermarket and not finding the food that I want. So that was quite challenging for me, especially being vegan. I don't eat just anything, and I'm a healthy eater. I do have quite a healthy diet. So for me, eating junk food all the time, I just can't do it because I get sick. I become very sensitive. I do it sometimes, obviously. I mean, you can eat vegan burgers and whatever, sausages and or whatever else, vegan pizza if you want, all day long. But I do it just as a treat. I don't eat like that all the time because I get sick very quickly. And at the moment, I'm on a very strict diet because I had a health issue in my mouth before this all kicked off. And I really have to, which is something to do with the immune system, so I really have to look after my health at the moment. So I'm not eating sugar, I'm not eating grains, and I'm not eating bread, yeast, things like that. So, which is usually a comfort food, isn't it? Especially when emotions come up. So yeah, that sort of thing I'm learning as well. Going to the supermarket and having to queue and having to keep distance from other people, that was quite weird. It was also, that's part of the new normal now. And I think we're going to have to get used to more and more queues as time goes on. Like I always say, my family's in Spain, and the restrictions there are very, very strict, and they've got the police and the army on the streets enforcing those restrictions. And literally, when you go to the supermarket, it's just one person in, one person out, that's it. And inside the supermarket, everybody's respecting social distance, everybody. It's not like that here yet, which is a bit challenging because, yeah, I just anyway, that triggers me a little bit because it's a breeding ground for the virus. But you know, yeah, the new normal, going to the supermarket and having to queue, and the new normal, everything being closed and not being able to go to do anything. So that's going to become quite normal now. And the new normal also includes staying home all day long, every day. All day long, 24 hours a day, every day. I mean, not 24, you can go out for a walk, but that's it. So yeah, lots of things that are the so-called now the new normal that I had to get used to, and I'm still learning, to cope with those. So all in all, it was a massive learning curve this first week in lockdown in London. And yeah, I'll just keep reporting. I'll keep doing my daily videos. If you are watching this, please hit the like button, subscribe, so that the logarithm can show this to other people, and hopefully, you know, you never know, somebody might need to get in touch and connect to this project. And yeah, for now I'm gonna leave it there. Stay safe, stay well, and have a good night. Namaste. Bye.